What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, the college basketball season is officially here, tipping off early this morning here on Monday morning with games all day, all week long, with some really good matchups throughout the first week as well. But we're here for the length of the college basketball season, all the way to March Madness and into the Final Four at the end of the season to conclude this all. Now, sitting here early Monday afternoon, wanted to get my video out, usually do every year, of picking my conference winners throughout college basketball of all the major conferences, and then making my Final Four and National Championship picks, as well as throwing my Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year in these picks as well. Like I said, early Monday afternoon, we've already been treated with a couple early games. But yeah, just wanted to get this out there before heading over to East Lansing for Michigan State's opener tonight against Colgate. But before we do jump in, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. We'll have more college basketball content on the channel throughout the season, in addition to obviously all the Michigan State previews, recaps, everything else Michigan State related on the channel. We'll dive into college basketball as a whole on the channel throughout the season as well, so just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. Okay, so we'll jump in. Not too many surprises here across the board. I think the teams that are projected to win their conferences, I think, are all pretty set in stone. I think there's a couple that there's maybe 2 or 3 teams that could compete for it, but we'll jump in. First off, the ACC, I got Duke. I think the Boozer twins, and then obviously with Caleb Foster as well, and all the talent that they have there. Too talented to not win the ACC. I got Duke winning the ACC. The Big Ten, I have preseason #1 Purdue, National Player of the Year favorite, and Braden Smith as well. I just think Purdue, top to bottom, with Braden Smith, as we said, but Trey Kaufman-Renn as well. Absolutely incredible he is. Other guys, Fletcher Lawyer. You can go down the bench for Purdue. A lot of reasons why I believe they will win the Big Ten. And while we're on the Big Ten, in terms of Michigan State, kind of said it. Video came out earlier this morning about Michigan State season preview, where I kind of expected them to be top 4. They're picked like 6th right now. I think top 4 is still where I'm sitting at with Michigan State as of right now going into the season, because we have to figure out who's going to be the offensive option. Really, we know how Cohen and Jax are going to get their points, how Jeremy's going to get their points too, but we need another scorer, a guy that can really score at 3 levels, kind of like Jace Richardson developed into last year. Not saying we're going to have someone develop into a first-round NBA talent, but we need someone to be able to take those shots, fill those minutes. So that's kind of where I sit right now with the question mark. I think with the defense that Michigan State, I believe, will have this year, looked a little shaky in the exhibitions, but I believe with their potential on defense and some of the running, everything that they can do, I think they do have that potential to defend their title of winning Big Ten by 3 games last year. But I definitely think Purdue is far and away, the #1 team as of right now, tipping off the college basketball season. And then we move to the Big 12. I think it's Houston, obviously national runner-up last year, and I think they'll be right back, always one of the top teams in the regular season, and we saw that getting to a Final Four national championship last year. I think they'll do that again in the regular season. On the Big East, I got UConn coming back after a down year for their standards last year, but I got them getting back on track in the regular season and winning the Big East. I definitely think they'll have some challengers out there, obviously Pitino and St. John's out there, but I got UConn getting back and winning the Big East. And then the SEC, I got Florida winning the SEC, coming off their national championship as well. I think just the additions, we'll kind of talk, spoiler alert, we'll talk about it a little more here when we get to the Final Four picks. I think the addition of their 2 guards that they got in Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, I think is a big reason for that. I definitely think there's some teams that can challenge there. I think Arkansas can definitely challenge as well. I think Arkansas over Kentucky, that's kind of the 3 that I got right there at the top. I'm sure most people have at the top there, but so I have Florida winning the SEC. So we'll jump into Final Four picks. So we'll just keep it rolling with Florida there. Like I said, the addition of Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee in the backcourt for them, I think it's just too dynamic, with Alex Condon as well, coming back from their championship team last year. Houston, probably have the #1 defense again. That'll carry them. We saw that carry them throughout the postseason last year. You got Uzan, you got Sharp, you got Tugler. back for them. I think Houston will make another run to the Final Four. We'll see if they can get over the hump, though. Purdue, as I said, Braden Smith, Player of the Year, type of guy going into this year. Trey Kaufman-Renn, I believe, should be an All-American in some sort. You got Fletcher Lawyer, knocked down, in my opinion, perfect third option next to Braden and TKR. CJ Cox, Daniel Jacobson, Oscar Clough coming in as well. I think just a well-rounded team. We'll see if they can get over the hump getting to the Final Four this time and see if we can have a Big Ten team, win the national championship. I haven't had one since 2000. And then UConn. Solo ball, I mentioned it in the Michigan State exhibition game against UConn, but Solo ball is one of my favorite players to watch, not on Michigan State, in the country. The way he can score, create, just really like his game. You have Alex Karaban kind of do it all for them. And you just move down the roster. Terrace Reed Jr., I think mixed down there with the freshman Reeby, the big 7'1" guy that they have. I think that's a terrifying, kind of 1-2 punch there that they can throw at you from the center position. And then Braylon Mullins, he's out for a couple weeks at the beginning of the season, but obviously a highly rated freshman. If he can come in and be a solid second, third option for them, scoring the basketball, then I think that will help them reach this potential. I think they have this potential either way, but if he reaches what we think he can hit, then that solidifies this Final Four appearance even more for UConn. The next teams that I have in there, Duke, obviously talked about them, with the Boozer twins, Caleb Foster as well. BYU, and I think they'll have a really good offense, one of the top offenses in the country, freshman AJ Debanza there. But if they can have a top 20 defense as well, I think they're a team that can, compete, getting to, Sweet 16, Elite 8, knocking on the door there. Arizona, Jaden Bradley, freshman Koa Pete, if they can have a top 15 offense and defense like they're projected coming into this year, I think they're a team that, Elite 8, knocking on the door potential. And then lastly, Arkansas, which is obviously scary for a Michigan State fan, considering they come into the Breslin in about 5 days now. But if their freshmen, Darius Akoff and Malik Thomas, if they can be that type of John Calipari guard and be impactful as a freshman, I think they can be pretty scary. We saw what they did last year when it wasn't a fantastic year for Arkansas. They were still able to, have some teeth in the NCAA tournament. So I think, year 2 for Cal there, kind of getting the system in place now. You have these 2 very talented freshman guards coming in. I think they can be knocking on the door of an Elite 8 to get to a Final Four. And now the results of that Final Four. I have Florida playing Houston. I have Florida getting the better of Houston again to go to the national championship game. Then I have UConn playing Purdue. And I have UConn getting back to a national championship. And in the championship game, I have UConn getting back on top, 3rd title in 4 years, beating Florida in their quest for a back-to-back title. So I have UConn winning the national championship. And then real quickly, just my players of the year, I have Braden Smith winning the player of the year for the whole country. And then freshman of the year, I have Cameron Boozer, freshman of the year from Duke. But that's it. Those are just, as I said, just kind of a quick one previewing the season here, but very excited. We've already had a couple good games to kick off today here early afternoon here on Monday, but we got a week full of games, really good games, later tonight. Obviously, Michigan State will be heading up there here in a little bit for their first game, but other games around the country as well in Vegas and, throughout this first week as well. On the women's side as well, there's good games that started at noon today as well. So just excited. College hoops is back. It's the best time of year. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.